Hello viewers, greetings of the day. We welcome you on behalf of NRI Legal Services. NRI Legal Services is a global firm managing legal affairs of the NRIs pertaining to their property matters. We are here with another session of Ask Me Anything. During this session, we will be handling issues relating to litigation matters. During this session, of litigation matters pertaining whatever issues are there, you are welcome to ask any questions from us. We'll be answering your queries. I'll be assisted by my team during this session. I'll introduce my team to you. First of all, I am Colonel Jitendra Singh, retired. I am the Vice President NRI Legal Services, and on my left is
Hello everyone, this is Advocate Alicia Munga, Legal Associate at NRI Legal Services.
And on my right is
Hi everyone, I'm Advocate Nikita Kohli, Senior Legal Associate at NRI Legal Services.
Okay, coming back to the topic, that is litigation matters and any issues pertaining to that. You can see that whenever there is a dispute about the property, then that dispute may culminate into a litigation. And when this culminates into litigation, the litigation has to go to the court. And there are various kinds of litigations which go to the court. I'll just give you a few examples, like civil litigation. Civil litigation goes before the civil court. And what kind of suits can be filed in the court? Like we can file suit for permanent injunction. Permanent injunction suit can be filed where the third party rights are likely to be created by the opposite party, or the opposite party is likely to alienate the property to the other persons. So in that case we go for permanent injunction suit, so that the opposite party cannot alienate the property to the third party. Also then we can go for suit for permanent mandatory injunction. Mandatory injunction is direction from the court that if any caretaker or anyone else illegally is possessing the property, directions can be passed through the court to vacate that property. Then we can go for suit for declaration. Declaration suit can be filed for cancellation of sale deed or for declaration of the title over the suit property. And there can also be suits for adverse possession in case anybody is holding property and seeking right by way of adverse possession, that can also be challenged through the process of court. Now, there can be other types of litigations like Rent Act litigations. Then there can be litigations pertaining to the consumer courts litigation. And so far as the Rent Act litigation is concerned, under Rent Control Act, when there is a dispute between tenant and the landlord, the dispute can be solved through the court. And in the consumer litigation, I would like Advocate Nikita to just comment about consumer litigation.
Thank you, sir. With regard to the consumer litigation, I would like to add here that consumer litigation involves approaching the consumer courts or the RERA authorities. So, why these consumer disputes happen at the first instance? So, whenever there is a deficiency of service at the end of the developer, then obviously consumers approach the appropriate authority for the resolution of the dispute. One important thing here which should be kept in mind by the aggrieved person, that the project in which they had invested should be registered with RERA whenever they are approaching the RERA authorities. So that's
okay. Good. We were just talking about the disputes pertaining to immovable assets. Even there can be issues pertaining to the movable assets. If you have to claim the movable assets from the bank at extra of the NRIs, then we have to go and approach the succession certificate, and we have to file a suit for the succession certificate. And before we proceed further, I see that there are certain questions are coming up, and we'll first take up the questions, and in between I'll keep explaining. And let us take the first question. Can you read, Advocate Nikita, what is the question?
Yes, sir. This is a question from Richie Bhattacharjee. My friend is an Australian citizen. He has filed a suit for partition, seeking partition of his share from his brothers, which is pending in the court. Can one of the co-owners, who is also party to the suit, sell his share. Advocate Alicia, would you like
so
to?
may I take
Yeah,
this
please,
question?
please, you take.
Okay, so Richie, this is a very significant question that you have asked, and we keep on receiving this question from many of our clients. So what happens is, when the property is under litigation, one or the other party, they sell their part of the land. So in such a situation, if there is a specific stay order passed by the court, the aggrieved party can file an application for contempt of court. And in cases where such stay order is not passed, even if the subsequent buyer's right is always at risk, as you know, they may not get the land for which they have done the sale. Right, sir?
And that's right.
So, I would-
But only thing I would like to clarify here is that during partition suit, there can be agricultural land, or there can be commercial property or residential property. If it's agricultural land, then the partition suit is filed before the revenue authorities. And in case of commercial property or residential property, the suit is filed before the civil court. Any other thing? you want to
Yes,
add?
sir. There's another question.
Okay.
So it is by Rituka, which says, my friend's mother died 4 years ago and she had a property in her name and she did not make any will. She has 2 sisters and me, the elder sister, and 1 brother and father. Her father, brother and sisters have no relation with each other, and her brother does not want to settle this matter. She does not want to file a property dispute case against them as it is expensive, time consuming and unreliable approach. Is there any other way?
Nikita.
So can I take
Yeah,
this
please.
one? Well, hi Rituka. Hope you are doing well. With regard to your question, I would like to answer here that since it is very clear from your question that all of you are not in good terms with each other. However, irrespective of that, all of you will have equal share in the property. Basically, your friends, they will going to have equal share in the property. First of all, obviously, litigation is a time-consuming and an expensive approach for the people who cannot afford it. However, as a first step, we always advise our clients, if they do not want to get into any kind of litigation, they can always enter into a family settlement agreement so that there is no prolonged litigation for them. In cases, there is obviously, if they are not at the same page with you, then the only remedy is to approach the court in that scenario and ask for your share accordingly. I guess I'm pretty
Yeah.
clear about it.
Rachana, I hope you're clear, because in this case, family settlement is the only issue in case you don't want to the court. But otherwise, if the family settlement doesn't arrive, and for your information, if there has to be family settlement, all the members who are in the family, they have to come together, and then only the compromise can arrive at. Even if one of the family member is not at par with you, then there may not be family settlement. In that case, you have no option but to approach court of law. Next, any other question?
So there is one question.
Arya?
Hanji, it's
No.
Rachna Pasi Agnihotri.
Okay.
The question is, I have ancestral property from my grandmother's side. We did not know that it existed, but someone from that village told us regarding the property. Can I get that property as it is more than 50 years now? So
Okay.
would you like to?
I'll handle this question.
Okay.
Now, you have stated that it's ancestral property, and more than 50 years have passed, and you didn't know about the property. Let me explain to you that so far as ancestral property is concerned, you have birthright in the ancestral property, and birthright means from the very beginning you have a right over the property and you can claim that property. But in your case, it's more than 50 years. So to find out who is the present occupant of the property, a due diligence and a search has to be carried out. Revenue records will have to be checked to find out the ownership of the property. And in case any person is occupying the property for more than 12 years continuously without interruption, then that person can claim adverse possession. But notwithstanding that, it can be a land which is not occupied by anybody, it can be abandoned land also. In that case, one can, after the search of the property, find out, then you can claim the right over that property, because it being ancestral property, your right still exists. Thank you, Rachna. Any other
Yes,
question?
sir. There's a question by Aryan Jain, which says, सत श्री अकाल जी, मेरे दादा जी ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਸਾਲ 2019 ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਘਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਸੂਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ। ਮੇਰੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਡੈਥ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ। ਮੇਰੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਦੇ 2 ਵਾਰਿਸ ਹਨ, ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਬੂਆ ਹਨ। ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੂਆ ਘਰ ਤੇ ਕਬਜ਼ਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਬੈਠੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਅਕੇਲਾ ਵਾਰਿਸ ਹਾਂ। ਮੇਰੀ ਬੂਆ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੱਢ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। ਕੀ ਮੈਂ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲੈ ਸਕਦਾ ਹਾਂ?
You handle this question.
ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਲਈ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਲੀਗਲ ਏਜ ਦਾ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੂਆ ਜੀ ਹਨ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੂਆ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕੋਰਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਓ ਆਪਣਾ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਮੰਗਣ ਲਈ, ਜੋ ਕਿ 50% ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ।
Good.
Sir,
Any other question?
There's another one.
Okay.
The question is from Mr. Gurjeet Benz.
Hmm.
I am a Canadian citizen and want to claim self-acquired property of my grandfather, as he has already disinherited my father from his self-acquired property. What are my chances as a grandson in the property of my grandfather, since my father has already been disinherited by my grandfather? So would you
Okay,
like
I
to...
will handle this question. Gurjeet, Mr. Gurjeet, it is very clear that the property has been self-acquired by your grandfather. In case the property is self-acquired, then your grandfather has all the right to dispose of the property as per his wishes. In case it would have been ancestral property, then your father and you would have had birthright in the property, but in the self-acquired property you don't have any right unless your grandfather decides to whom it is to be given, whether to your father or to you. But in your case, your grandfather has already disinherited your father, so your father doesn't get any share in the self-acquired property of grandfather, and automatically you will also not get any share in the property of your grandfather, which is his self-acquired property. So there is no purpose solved in case going to the court. You will not win this case. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, sir. There's a question by Divesh, which says, my father purchased a property in Mumbai in 2014. He constructed the house in such a way that me and my brother do not have a quarrel later on. However, my brother has occupied my floor too and is not letting me use it for my personal use. My brother's wife is carrying on her boutique business without my consent. Is there any way that I can get my floor back, as my father has passed away? So may I? Yeah. So in such a situation, Devesh, what you can do is you can approach the court and you can claim your share by on the basis of natural succession, as your question clearly reveals that your father has not left any will behind. So you can file suit for declaration and claim your 50% share in the property, and also you can ask for partition of the same. Thank you.
Okay. Only thing is, let me clarify it further, that property is consisting of ground floor and first floor. So if you do the valuation of the property, ground floor may be having more value than the first floor. Then in case you get the first floor, you can always seek compensation through the court, that so that both the brothers get the equal share, right? Any other question?
So there's one from Mr. Savinder Handa. He says that I am a citizen of UK, whereas my father was an Indian citizen. During his lifetime, he purchased an independent house in Chandigarh and made a will to the effect that my 2 sisters will get 40% share each in that property and I should be given 20%. As per the natural succession, I am entitled to 33%. Can I challenge the will of my father?
Okay.
So,
Let me handle this question.
oh,
It is evident that your father has made a will, and in that will he has very clearly specified that your share is 20%, your sister's share is to 40% each. Although the will prevail, but you can always challenge the genuineness of the will. If the genuineness of the will is challenged, then they will have to prove that the will has been made without any pressure, without any fraud, or without any due influence. And under these circumstances, if we are able to prove the will that it was not a genuine will and it is suffering from fraud and all that, in that case you may succeed and get 33% share.
So there's one more
Okay.
from Kal Daljit. She says, "Hi, I'm staying in Canada. My uncle, who is a citizen of India, owned property in Delhi, and during his lifetime, he made a will bequeathing 50% share in the property to me and 50% to his only son. My uncle expired last year, but he had shared the copy of the will with me before his death. I approached my cousin asking 50% share as per the will. He has refused. What I can do?" So, can I take this
Please,
question? Hi Diljit. The answer to your question, I would like to say that the property is going to be devolved upon you and your cousin in 2 equal shares, of course, as per the will. However, you will have to approach, since your cousin has refused to admit your share, you will have to approach the court for asking a declaration on the basis of the will, and you will have to prove the genuineness of the will. As just sir said in the previous question, that the will has to be proved by the witnesses. At least one of the attesting witnesses should testify to the contents of the will. So obviously, once the court order is passed in your favor, and you can be declared the owner to the extent of 50% share on the basis of the said will of your uncle.
Right. Right.
So there's
Okay.
another question by Pulkit, which says, "I purchased a flat in Mohali in a renowned society. They promised to give possession by March 2020. However, till date they haven't given possession of the flat and it is still under construction." So may I?
Please.
Yes. Pulkit, thank you for your question, and it appears from your question that the builder has clearly violated the terms and conditions. What you can do is you can approach the Consumer Commission having jurisdiction in your matter, and you can file a complaint with them. And if the society is RERA approved, then you can file the complaint before the RERA. Thank you.
Okay, only one thing I would like to clarify here, that Pulkit, when you are going to the court, you must know that the limitation period for going to the court is 2 years. So within 2 years from the date of cause of action, that from the day the builder has refused to give the property to you as per the agreement, so you can approach the court. In case it is beyond 2 years, then you will have to justify the delay for approaching the court. And also I would like to clarify that in case you have to go to the RERA court, then there is no limitation period for going to the RERA court. And for jurisdiction, so far as jurisdiction is concerned, if you are going to consumer court, then District Consumer Commission has the power to handle the matter up to 1 crore if the claim is up to 1 crore. And if you go to the state commission, then the jurisdiction amount is between 1 to 10 crore, and beyond 10 crore you have to approach the national commission. So under these circumstances, the jurisdiction of the court will be decided, and also the limitation has to be seen before going to the court. Right. Any other question?
There is one from Mr. Sunil. There is one from Mr. Sunil Kumar. He says that our landlord is asking to vacate his property within the upcoming 3 months without prior notice. Is there any law which can go in favor of the tenant and extend the period? Thank you for the question, Mr. Sunil. Well, in such circumstances, what happens is a relationship between a landlord and a tenant is governed by a valid rent agreement entered between both of them. So basically, you should have seen landlord can ask you to vacate the property on the grounds such as that you have misused the property in a way that you have damaged the property, you have sublet the property, then you have used the property, you have taken the property, took the property for residential purposes but are now using it for the commercial purposes. So on these grounds, the landlord can ask you to vacate the property. However, if there is specific clause with regard to giving of a prior notice to you, then you can ask your landlord to give it in writing. If not, then obviously you can approach the appropriate court on the valid grounds for getting a relief for getting a relief in a way that he does not vacate you from the property illegally.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let me explain it also from NRI's point of view, who are the landlords of the property. If an NRI is a landlord of the property, then he has to ensure before giving the property on rent that a proper rent agreement is signed, and that rent agreement should be in writing. And also they should verify the antecedents of the tenant, credentials of the tenant should be thoroughly verified so that subsequently disputes are not raised. It should be preferably given to a person who is outsider. If you give to a local person or to a person who is who can run commercial business from there, or he can start practice, or is a professional, so those people should be avoided. And very important is that the property should be visited, and moreover when you are taking the rent, it is preferable that the rent is taken through check or through bank transactions. So if all these cares are taken by the NRIs, then it would be very easy to get the property vacated, and also in case it turns into litigation, then it can be protected through the court by showing these details, which clearly brings out your favorable evidence. Okay. Any other?
Yes, there's another question by Priyanka. Does a person have a right in his stepfather's property after his death? Thank you, Priyanka, for your question. According to the law, when a Hindu male dies, his property is distributed amongst his class 1 legal heirs, which include his sons, daughters, widow, mother, and so on. So a stepson does not qualify to be one of the legal heir of his stepfather. So thus a stepson will not have the right to claim property of his stepfather. I hope my answer resolves your query.
The only thing which I would like to add here, Miss Priyanka, that your mother, who is the wife of your stepfather, she will inherit one of the portion of the share, as explained by Advocate Alisha, that she will get equal share in the property, being one of the legal heirs and being the wife. Then your mother automatically becomes the owner of that property, and that property which goes to your mother, although she is the she is the wife of your stepfather, but then on your mother's property you will have the right, and she can bequeath that property to you, or during her lifetime, if she gets that property, she can transfer that property to you. I hope it is clear. Any other question? Manpreet Kaur?
There
Yes.
is one.
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
There's a question from Manpreet Kaur. Ma'am, I want to know one thing, that my grandparents have not done any will, and they have 3 kids, 2 sons, 1 daughter. Who will have the rights for the property, elder son or the younger one? So would you like to take up this?
Okay. So the question states that your grandfather doesn't have any will, and he has not made any will rather, and he has 3 kids, and there are 2 sons, 1 daughter, and you say that who will have the right over the property, elder son or the younger one. Let me explain that in this case, since your grandfather has not made any will, then this property will be devolved upon legal heirs by way of natural succession. In that case, as you stated, there are only 2 sisters and 1 brother. They will get equal shares, and if there is no other legal heir alive. But in case there is any other class 1 legal heir alive, then property will be equally divided amongst all the legal heirs. I hope it is clear. Any other question?
Yes, sir, there's another question by Gagan Singh, which says, I am a US citizen. My friend's father expired 3 months back without making any will. He has come to know that his father has left behind some fixed deposits and money in saving bank accounts. His father also had some shares in his name. He is the only son. How can he claim right over these movable assets of his father? So may I answer this?
Okay, please.
So in such a situation, what your friend can do is he can approach the court and file a succession petition. a succession petition, it is a succession certificate is granted when you file a succession petition, and it is a document wherein court certifies the legal heirs of the deceased person. And once the court grants this certificate, your friend can use the same to have access to the movable accounts, movable assets of your father.
That's right. Okay, any other question?
This is another one. This is one second. This is
Let's
another one from.
Yeah, this is a repeated question.
No, this is.
From Richie Bhattacharya.
Yeah. So he's asked another question. So this is another question from him probably. He says that my. One second. Actually, this one's a repeated one.
Yeah, repeated one.
It's a repeated one.
Yes.
Okay.
Second. Sir,
Any
there's a
other question?
There's a question
Yeah.
from Navjot Theara.
Yes.
So there's a question from Navjot Theara. Question है मैं इंडिया में नहीं रहती और ना ही ट्रैवल कर सकती हूँ, क्या मैं पार्टीशन केस फाइल कर सकती हूँ बिना इंडिया आए? थैंक यू नवजोत जी फॉर द क्वेश्चन. आपके आंसर के लिए मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि डेफिनेटली बिना इंडिया ट्रैवल किए आप अगर पार्टीशन केस फाइल करवाना चाहती हैं तो आप करवा सकते हैं बाय गिविंग अ स्पेशल पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी. वो बेसिकली स्पेशल पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी होगी विद रिगार्ड टू द लिटिगेशन प्रोसीडिंग्स. उसके अंदर जो भी पावर्स होंगी वो सिर्फ उसी प्रोसीडिंग्स को कन्फाइंड होगी. और आप इट इज़ ऑलवेज एडवाइज्ड, हम हमेशा एडवाइस करते हैं कि आप किसी ट्रस्टेड पर्सन को पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी दें ताकि उसका मिसयूज ना हो सके और बिना इंडिया आए आप अपना मैटर फाइल करवा सकते हैं. तो आई होप आपका आंसर क्लैरिफाई हो गया है इसमें.
Any other question?
No, so
I'm
as of
getting a
now,
lot of,
As of
As of now, there's
question.
no new
Okay.
question.
right now there's no question.
So this question answer session has kept you very busy. Thank you so much, Advocate Nikita and Advocate Alisha.
Thank you.
And only one thing at the end I would like to clarify that there are certain inheritances which one should know. There is inheritance by way of a self-acquired property and inheritance of ancestral property. So there are a lot of issues which come up regarding this inheritance of self-acquired property and inheritance of ancestral property. So far as inheritance of self-acquired property is concerned, in that case there can be a will and it can also be inherited by way of natural succession. But in case there is a will and it is a genuine will, then the share will go to the persons who are mentioned in the will or who are being bequeathed the property by the executor, who is the owner of that self-acquired property. And in case he has not made any will, then in that case the property goes to all the legal heirs, that is class 1 legal heirs, which has also been explained to you by my team. Then the property will be equally divided amongst all the legal heirs on the basis of natural succession. But so far as ancestral property is concerned, ancestral property, no will can be made for the ancestral property. Let us be very clear. There can be no will because ancestral property is a property which is coming from 3 generation minimum, and it gives you the birthright. The moment a person is born in the family, that person acquires the right over the property by birth, and then that right is transferred on the basis of the succession by which they will be entitled to the property. But in case ancestral property is divided at any stage or some partition has taken place of the ancestral property, in that case it becomes a self-acquired property of the person when the property has been partitioned and gone to the various co-owners. So in that case ancestral property will lose its ancestral nature and it becomes the self-acquired property. So finally, before I close, I would like to thank you for giving your time. And I must clarify that NRIs have got of issues pertaining to their litigation matters, and litigation matters can be already going in the court, for which you may like to choose best of the advocates or best of the firms, or if you have to choose best of the advocates, then your fresh matters may also be there, where you may be your ancestors may have left some property in India, your fathers might have left some property in India, but some caretaker or some relative or some friend has taken over that property or forcefully occupied that property. So your rights can be protected, your property can be protected if we go to the court at the right time. If we keep on delaying, then there will be a lot of issues and you may not be able to get back your property. So it is advised that if you have any property in India, you must pursue those properties and ensure that you get your rights back. We are there to protect your properties and get you back those properties by filing appropriate litigation, or even by getting the matter settled if it could be settled without even going to the court. So thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to say that in case you have any query, you can please approach our website query@nrilegalservices.com. And finally, I would like to say that we have been handling your questions. I believe that there have been large number of questions, but in case any of the question has been left out, or any person, any NRI who has not been able to contact us, then you are welcome to contact us on our website. You are welcome, and we can answer your queries separately. We'll handle all the queries, and we assure you of our continued services and best services so far. And thank you so much, and please stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks again for sparing your time. Thank you so much.